あの状態でなお。
こんな時あいつがノールがいてくれりゃな。
そういうことか。愚かなどではない。あれこそが私がずっと憧れ追い求めた姿。己の命を犠牲にしてでも誰かを守り抜く。誠の。
The problem with shows like I Parry Everything is they are not good enough to dangle a carrot at the end of an episode and expect their viewers to be like, oh, I can't wait till next episode. Instead, what it does is it actually hampers, dampens, or kind of ruins the current episode that their viewer base is watching. Shows that are very what the mass audience would describe as mid don't have the autonomy like really great anime to be able to end on a cliffhanger that's not that interesting and expect viewers to be like, oh my god, did you see the episode of I Parry Everything this week? No, it just doesn't happen. If anything, you get people to speak negatively or not at all about your show. And in most cases, any publicity is good publicity, but most of the times those negativity are going to be for like, you know, a very niche audience that's already kind of attached to the show that would be considered mid. If I were to put out a poll right now and said, hey, what's the top 10 anime of the summer season? I Parry Everything simply wouldn't be on the list. And I think that's where a lot of these shows end up messing up. Shows like, in recent memory, Berserk of Gluttony. Shows like Strongest Magician in the Demon Lord's Army. Shows like the healing isekai, you know, anime. Osan Newbie Adventure this season. These shows are like on their best day. Like, I mean, like firing all cylinders. They're a 7. Most days they're a 6. The reason folks come back is because of something charming about the episode, whether it's a character that they've associated with or attached to, whether it's a certain, you know, plot point, whether it's maybe that they, like, you know, in my cases, like, you know, oh, I find a few things funny, like when he calls, like Noor calls something a cow, or when he gets something, you know, wrong, or he says something that's totally out of left field, or like this episode, he was like, oh, that guy's name Gabriella, Victor, Armadillo. That's funny. So that's what I attach to. Those things need to happen more frequently, the less quality or the less good the source material is. And I'm sorry to say it. Now, why did I open in that way? Well, this episode really needed to have the completion of whatever's going to happen with this frog or toad or whatever. We needed to have seen it. They ended the episode with Noor laying there, poisoned, you know, and he's like, I really thought I could have done it or whatever, right? And that's his thing. And next episode, whether he decides to do healing on himself, and because he's perfected his level 1 healing to the 1000th degree, he heals himself, whether the little boy or little girl, whatever it is, little kid behind him decides to help him and heal him because, you know, honestly, Noor saved his ass or her ass, whatever, you know, I don't know what that kid is yet. Whatever it is, something's going to happen. Whether Lynn breaks through the barrier and it goes and purifies him, something's going to happen. And obviously, Noor is going to survive. That's okay. We needed to see that this episode, and then we can move on to the next thing, right? They get back in the carriage, and you know he shakes hands with the kid, and he, you know, the kid turns his thing around, and or maybe the episode ends with him, you know, whatever's gonna happen next episode, maybe the episode ends with that, and then he kills the frog, and then we get the cliffhanger. But as a viewer, I invested my 23 minutes into the show, and I got a return on my investment of time seeing him defeat the thing. If the show was overall better, more quality, you know, better plot, better MC, they could dangle the carrot. They just don't have enough. All they have they have very little here. So that's kind of where I take issue with, you know, especially when the show's going to come in and waste a lot of my time, give me a lot of expose, give me a lot of stuff that I could have guessed already. You know, the kingdom's going to be attacked. We got to save Lynn. We get a whole backstory for her shield girl, which is fine. I thought her story was fine. I thought it was good. We learned something about Noor, which I'm assuming that her foster dad's referring to Noor's dad, not Noor. Some persons that were important. So it gave us that little nougat of information. So it gave us the nougat of the shield girl. It gave us the nougat of, okay, his dad was probably pretty important. He decided to retire to have a wife and kid, or maybe he decided to retire because his wife was getting sick and he put his wife above everybody else, but he died first. You know what I mean? Whatever happened, you know what I mean? Like, we'll probably get to learn that. Maybe not even. Because, again, it's a mid-quality show, so we may not even get to learn what happened to his parents. They may just continue to provide little spruces of info. But overall, there wasn't a lot of movement this episode. Brother comes, hires a carriage, tells Noor to go along with them. They begin to take off. They don't really give us a lot of backstory. Then we get a little bit backstory. The brother's like, oh, yeah, they're going to attack. Attack begins to happen. Then attack from the frog. Throw in a little nugget of 2-3 minutes for the shield girl backstory. No problem with that. Throw in a nugget of information for 2 other flashbacks for Noor and Noor's dad. Okay. And then throw in the fight with the frog that is not impressive. You know what I mean? They're not setting the Sakuga world ablaze, So what we needed as the viewer for payoff is definitely the end of it. So that's my thing. I think this episode kind of sucked. I'm looking forward to next week. I'll have faith still. I genuinely do like the anime, but it's very much with the realization that I have to be real of knowing that, hey, it's a 6.5 out of 10. 7, some episodes 7 on their best day. But the redeeming qualities is I really like Lynn. I think Noor is pretty cool. I know he's dense and stupid, but it kind of makes sense why he's dense and stupid because he was, in solitude for like 15 years. He basically just didn't have any social, like outside of his mom and dad, he had like no socialistic experiences outside of the time he left at 15 to go try his hand everywhere and then went back home for 15 more years, So it makes sense why he's the way he is. So I genuinely do like Noor, and I really like Lynn. And the Crusader Shield Girl, she kind of reminds me of a girl from this video game called Tales of Arise. So I like her as well too. I like a lot of elements from this show, but sometimes they're just not working. And it has, and it's been funny. It has for the most part. This episode just didn't really work for me. So yeah, that's how I feel. 6 out of 10. It's just fine. I'll see you next week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you disagree, especially, let me know. All right, I'll see you then. Peace.